Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Amy Holt, your education director, and so excited to be able to join this group of professionals from across the state as they represent their professional associations that they're involved with and give you some insight into why those associations may be beneficial for you to join as a municipal clerk or someone in the municipal clerk city secretary's office here in Texas. I know several of you are on the call live today, and I've had so many of you say that you couldn't be here this morning, but you're going to watch it later after the recording is put into our member portal. And so we're excited for you to join us as well whenever it's convenient for you. I want to introduce you to Jannette Goodall, the city secretary with the city of Fort Worth and TMCA president for 2023. Many of you know Jannette as a longtime city clerk with the city of Austin and professional with the city of Austin prior to her time as city clerk. She's been on the board for many, many years now with TMCA, and we're so excited to have her as the president this year. And I want to turn the meeting over to Jannette and say thank you so much, Jannette, for facilitating this, for all your efforts that went into putting this meeting together.
Thank you. And don't let her fool you. Dr. Holt did all of this, so she gets all of the credit. But good morning and thank you all for joining us. And I just want to say I'm really excited because we have 5 fabulous presenters for you today. And so what we're going to do is I will go through and introduce our speakers. If you have questions for the speakers as they come up, as they're going through their presentations, just go ahead and put them into the chat. And Dr. Holt and I will be monitoring the chat, and we'll let the presenters know when they have a question. And that way we don't have to worry about trying to keep track of who has their hand raised or anything like that today. So we're going to start off. I'm going to read their bios for the speakers. Our first presenter is going to be Lynne Stratta, which probably all of you know, and so probably don't need to do a lot of introduction, but I told her she hadn't sent me her bio, so I told her I got to make it up today. So that scared her a little bit. So if you don't know Lynne, she is the city secretary with the city of Bryan. And she's been there since 1990, and she has over 40 years of experience as a municipal clerk or secretary. So she has a wealth of knowledge. In addition to that, if you don't know, in 2005, she was the TMCA president. And in 2009 and 10, she was actually president of the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. In addition, in 2003, she was awarded the IIMC Quill Award, which is one of the highest awards that a municipal clerk secretary can receive from our international organization. And way back in 2002, she was actually TMCA Clerk of the Year. But she is currently president of the IIMC Educational Foundation. And so she'll be telling us a little bit about that today as well. Our next two, Angela Ossar and Holly Dolan, will be talking to us about records management organizations. And Angela is the records management officer for the University of Texas system in Austin. And she directs all aspects of records management policy and department support. And she has worked in the archives and records management field for over 15 years. Prior to joining UT in 2021, she directed the records management program of the Office of the Governor and served statewide clients at the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. So some of you may know her from that time. She received her BA from the University of Texas at Austin and an MSLS from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She is also a certified records manager and serves as the National Association of Government Archives and Records Administrators, known as NAGARA, as the chair of the Professional Development Committee. Holly is the technology project manager for Denton County, Texas. After joining the world of local government in 2016, she quickly learned that a little enthusiasm goes a long way, which we all know. And in In 2022, she transitioned from her role as Denton County's Records Management Officer to work full-time on project management. She hopes to use her skills as both a records manager and project manager to bridge the gap between IT and records and archives. She holds a MLS in Archives and Digital Imaging from the University of North Texas and is a certified associate in project management through the Project Management Institute and serves as vice president of NAGARA. Karen Daly is the first Mountain Plains Region Director for the International City County Management Association and is the executive director of the Texas Women Leadership Institute, both of which are supposed to be part-time positions, but probably are not. And in June of 2016, she resigned as the city manager of Hutto, Texas, after 31 years of service in 5 different Texas cities: Arlington, Longview, Greenville, Sugar Land, and Hutto. She began her career at the North Central Texas Council of Governments, working for the legendary Bill Pitstick. She has 2 master's degrees because she's an overachiever from the University of Texas in Arlington. And she has served in leadership roles in her profession and in her community and is past president of the Hutto Rotary Club, founder of the Hutto's Women's Alliance, and co-founder of the Texas Women Leading Government. She loves volunteering with United Way through their tax preparation program for low-income persons and families. And she is a proud mom of 2 feminists and mostly grown husband who is a musician. She is also a soccer player and has been playing since the sport was invented. Our last speaker is Lee Woodward, which many of you know. She is City Secretary and Public Information Officer for the City of LaPorte and is an instructor of election law, parliamentary procedure, public information, and records management. She is a Texas registered municipal clerk and an executive graduate of the Texas Women Leading Government's Texas Women's Leadership Institute Phoenix class. That's a mouthful. She holds certifications as a professional registered parliamentarian, a certified parliamentarian, and Texas certified public manager and certified records manager, as well as receiving the NAGARA Government Archives and Records Administration Certificate. I think I got the acronym correct, but they can correct me if I'm wrong. She is president of the Electronic Association of Parliamentarians and active in the Texas State Association of Parliamentarians and the American Institute of Parliamentarians. She is a member of the Texas Association of Government Information Officers, the Texas City Management Association, and Texas Women Leading Government, the League of Women in Government, and AnitaB.org, and is an IIMC Master Municipal Clerk and Athenian Leadership Society Fellow and Dialogue Facilitator. She is a graduate of Texas A&M University and Johns Hopkins University. So our presenters are very well qualified to come to us and talk to us about different organizations. So we're excited to have them here. We're going to start off with Mary Lynne. And so I will ask her the following 6 questions. First question, Mary Lynne, can you tell us a little bit about the association and both of them that you're representing today? Because I know you want to do the Education Foundation as well.
I do. Thank you very much, Madam President. First, I want to talk about the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. It was founded in 1947. And it is a worldwide organization with approximately 15,000 members. And I had the great honor of serving as their president, 2009 to 2010. There's many benefits of membership in IIMC, which Jannette's going to ask me about. So I'll hold off on talking about the various programs and opportunities available to people who are members of IIMC, including certification. The other organization I want to talk to you about today is the IIMC Foundation. It is the fundraising arm of IIMC. It is a 501c3, and our sole purpose, those of us on that board, is to raise money for clerk education. And I can talk in more detail about opportunities that are available through that organization as well.
Okay, so can you tell us 2 or 3 things of, that you would think are the biggest benefits of your involvement and what we could get from being involved in IIMC and the foundation?
Absolutely. First of all, IIMC membership. There is a mentoring program that they have to help newer clerks get onboarded with a lot of resources and advice from veteran clerks across the country. There are committees, a lot of committees where members can participate in those committees. But I would, the networking opportunities are amazing. I was telling a story the other day about how my mayor asked me for if I could find a sample ordinance. Couldn't find one in Texas, but I found one in Kansas City, because IIMC will help you find those things through their resource committee. But the main thing, I think, is the certification programs. There's 2 certification programs right now with IIMC. The first is the Certified Municipal Clerk Certification, or CMC. The second one, after you receive your CMC, is the Master Municipal Clerk Designation, or MMC. So for those of you that are not members of IIMC, you should join, because if you are a Texas registered municipal clerk, you are already more than halfway to your CMC designation with IIMC, because the Texas Municipal Clerk Certification Program is a recognized institute, or a member, if you will, an educational offering member of IIMC. They are a recognized institute, and everything that they do just about is approved for educational points through IIMC. So CMC first. If you're TRMC, like I said, you're over halfway there. The application is on the website. I'm going to tell you more about that. Master Municipal Clerk, once you obtain your Certified Municipal Clerk, you can immediately start working towards your Master Municipal Clerk designation. Another program that is new and doesn't really have an official name yet is the Beyond the MMC program. It is something that IIMC started because we had master municipal clerks out there across the country and really around the world whose cities no longer supported their efforts for continuing education, saying, well, you're already a master municipal clerk. What else is there to learn? And we all know that ongoing education is critical to our roles. So the Beyond the MMC program has been created. It is still in its infancy. There is still a lot of work to do. And eventually, I think it'll have a real name. Right now, I don't know what that's going to be. Then in addition to that, we have what's called our Athenian Leadership Society. You can join the society one time. And for those of you that have participated in Athenian leadership dialogues, the premise of the program is that back in 2005, IIMC was looking for a way to encourage master municipal clerks to continue to develop their leadership skills. And so in conjunction with work with the University of Illinois, the Athenian Leadership Society was formed, and the Athenian Leadership Dialogue program was created. And we all read a book together, the same book. We don't read it together. We all read the same book, and then we come together and we discuss the leadership principles, characteristics, and traits and leadership lessons in that book. And then when you have a facilitator, and Jannette, Lee, and I are all facilitators, it's our job to help you relate those leadership lessons to what we do as city secretaries. And so it's a great program. Once you have completed 10 dialogues, you will be inducted into the Athenian Leadership Society as a fellow. And for each Athenian dialogue that you attend and complete a learning assessment, you will earn 3 education points towards your CMC or your MMC with IIMC, and it also works towards your TRMC recertification. rather than doing a book report just on your own. So there's a little bit of double dipping there, and I think that's wonderful. So there are a lot of opportunities out there for you. I would encourage you to go to IIMC.com for more information. Jannette, do you want me to go ahead and talk about the foundation opportunities
Yes,
now?
please do.
Okay, so the IIMC Foundation, again, is a 501c3, and we're a fundraising arm of IIMC. We raise money for clerk education, and that is all that we do. When you get your IIMC dues notice, you'll notice there's a little optional line on there for $25, and that goes to the foundation. It's called a voluntary contribution. We hope you all are taking advantage of that. Your city doesn't have to pay it. You could stick that check in there yourself. But we raise a lot of money. And we have about $3.5 million invested with financial advisors out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we protect the corpus as any foundation does. So the interest that we earn on that $3.5 million is what we use to fund clerk education. And we do that in various ways. First of all, we offer CMC and MMC scholarships of $400 each for anyone that is working towards their CMC or their MMC. Now, if you are attending a seminar put on by TMCCP that is part of our institute, you will earn those points. And we can provide you with a scholarship for that. We do have an application period. We have not turned down a request for any type of scholarship since at least back to 2010. Since 2010, we have funded every request for a scholarship that we have gotten. So the CMC, MMC scholarships are something that we do. Also, there are online learning opportunities through IIMC, and we offer $100 scholarships for online learning that can be applied for. And again, I think last year we funded 120 and we still left some money on the table. Another thing that we do, and I know that Texas and other Region 4 states have taken advantage of that, is we offer $1,000 stipends towards our annual region meetings, educational expenses. And I know we've taken advantage of that. A lot of regions do. And then we offer conference attendance grants. The conference attendance is about $650, $675 to attend the IIMC annual conference in May. And we fund 2 per region. And usually we have plenty of applications for that. That's the one place we don't run short on applications. Then in addition to all of that, we give IIMC about $50,000 to $60,000 a year to use on the development of educational programs to hire really, I'll say world-class speakers for our annual conference and for other educational opportunities. So that is what the foundation does. If you're not taking advantage of that money, you should.
So just to kind of summarize, what do you think is the most important thing that IIMC benefits a municipal clerk for?
Well, I certainly think the certifications are important. I think the ongoing leadership development programs that they concentrate on is important. So the certifications, but I'm going to tell you that networking is amazing. The opportunity to connect with other city clerks around the world. Somebody out there has been through it. You may think you're the first city to go through something unusual, but you're not. And through IIMC, you can find resources and information that will help you. I use it quite frequently. And I can tell you, my folks here at the city are always impressed that I walk in with a sample ordinance or a sample program that someone's ahead of us on. You know, no sense in reinventing the wheel when you could just kind of put a little air in it, right? So I think those are the main benefits.
Okay. So how can a new person quickly feel like part of the association?
Sure. So first you want to join IIMC.com, volunteer right away to be involved on committees. They have a lot of Zoom opportunities, coffees with the president, online learning, the committee work and structure, working through the resources. And then of course, when you go to the annual conference, the opportunities for networking are endless. It's just amazing, the networking opportunities there. So, and certainly on the foundation, if you are interested in helping the foundation raise money, we have what we call a development committee, and I'll put anybody on it if you're willing to work. So there are opportunities to get involved. Yes.
And they always have the Hawaii raffle.
We have the
That's very
Hawaii raffle.
Popular. You can
Yes.
win it.
We have a lot of fundraising that we do. We work on it year round for the foundation. One of them is the Hawaii raffle. Last week, for those of you that were at the seminar in College Station, I had the forms there. Every year we have a vendor who donates a all expenses paid trip for two for a week to Hawaii. It's about a $10,000 value. The tickets, we love it when you buy those because that money, every penny goes to clerk education. I want to stress that. The board members of the foundation do not take one penny for anything. We pay our own travel. We pay our own expenses. We don't take one penny. Every penny we raise goes to clerk education. So there's the Hawaii raffle. There is a silent auction at the annual conference. And if you can't come, hey, and you want to donate something to the silent auction, send it to me. I'll get it up there. We sell t-shirts. Sometimes we sell bracelets. The Hawaii raffle brings in a good amount of money, as does the silent auction. And it is an online auction. So if you have a friend there and you're not there, bid anyway and have your friend pick it up for you. So you can bid online. We're constantly raising money, constantly. And to be on this board, you have to be willing to ask people for money. But what we find is most people understand, if we all give a little, we all learn a lot.
So where can members find more information about IIMC?
Okay, IIMC.com, and about the foundation, IIMCfoundation.com. And let me encourage all of you that are members of IIMC, please apply for these funding opportunities through the foundation. I'd like to see more Texas clerks take advantage of some of that money.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell us about IIMC?
No, but I just want to say, there's benefits. If you're already a member of TMCA and either have your certification or working on it, there's a lot of benefits to joining IIMC. You can have 2 certifications going for you. So it's not a lot of money to join. It's based on city population for IIMC. And I would just encourage you to get involved, and you will make lifelong friendships as well.
Great. Dr. Holt, I don't see any questions for Mary Lynn. I will ask one quick question just to put her on the spot. Do you think, one of the things I hear a lot about folks wanting to apply for CMC and MMC is the application process, and the fact that it's still in an Excel spreadsheet form and seems to be very confusing and time intensive. Do you think that will ever be streamlined to be an online?
Yeah, I think it is online now. They use Airtable for a lot of it, but I would encourage you to get a hold of Kelly Sigson. She is our certification specialist, and she will walk you through it step by step by step. You don't have to wait and submit it all at once either. You could submit what you think is a good part of it or whatever to Kelly. She'll come back and say, okay, here's what you still need to do to get your CMC. So they have streamlined it a lot, Jannette. Not that it couldn't be better, probably, as could everything, but they turn those around very quickly now. So I would encourage you, give Kelly a call. Kelly Sigson, I'll put that in the chat. Sigson, how do you spell Sigson? And I'll put her email in there.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Okay, so our next speakers are going to kind of tag team, and that will be Holly and Angela, and they're going to talk about NAGARA and the NAGARA certificate program. So our first question will just be for you to tell us a little bit about NAGARA.
All right, thanks, Jannette. Again, I'm Holly Dolan. I'm the Vice President of NAGARA, and thanks for allowing us a little bit of time to talk to you today. NAGARA stands for the National Association of Government Archivists and Records Administrators. It's a mouthful. I'm going to say it again. It's National Association of Government Archivists and Records Administrators. When you forget that, I'm going to just go ahead and put our website in the chat so you can remind yourself. Yeah, we're an association dedicated to improving government archives and record centers and the profession of government archivists and records administrators. I say that that can be a very broad thing. We started back in the 70s as an association specifically for state archivists. And then around 1984, 1985, that broadened to really anyone working with government information. So when you hear our name is about government archives, and maybe you're not necessarily an archivist, that's just fine. About 50% of our members, actually I have it written down, 47% actually, are people working in local governments. And many of those people are information managers, records managers, clerks, really anyone working with managing government records or archival materials. Yeah, we're really excited to potentially have the opportunity to have more members from municipal organizations, from the municipal level of government. So we, like I said, about 1,600 members. Sounds like a lot, but it's a really tight-knit community and a great place to get some educational opportunities to network with other people. But I'm probably spoiling the rest of the questions by saying all of that, so.
Angela, did you have anything you wanted to add to?
No, you'll hear plenty from me in the next question. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, so next question. Can you both tell us maybe 2 or 3 things that you would say are the biggest benefit for getting involved in NAGARA or joining NAGARA?
Yes, I am more than happy. So, and just as a reminder, so I'm Angela Ossar, and I am the chair of the Professional Development Committee, which is NAGARA's largest committee. It's kind of in charge of all of our online training and a lot of other things. So I think our #1 top benefit is our webinars. NAGARA's webinars and online forums are truly just the best we have in government records and archives. A lot of records management training you'll find, when you go out there to look for it, is either focused to private sector or is a sales pitch for software. And NAGARA's webinars are great because they're specific to government records, because y'all know, like we have, the Public Information Act, and we have a lot of things that are really specific to working for the government. So NAGARA's, it's stuff that's by members, it's all government. And the other thing that's kind of unique about NAGARA is that it's not just records management, it's records management and archives. And, y'all as city secretaries and working in that field, you have both responsibilities. So it's also unique in that way. I wanted to give you a couple of the webinars we have coming up. There's one in June called Moving Skeletons, a Network Drive Cleanup Case Study. I'm really excited about that one. I'm actually bringing a bunch of my records coordinators into a room. We're going to show that one, because that one's about cleaning up a shared drive, which is something pretty universal to all of us. And we have all these files that are just sitting out there on file shares. We don't know what to do with them. So that one we're really excited about. There's another one coming up in August called Letting Go is Never Easy. That one's being taught by the city records manager of the city of Seattle. And that's about kind of what should happen to records when employees transfer between departments. So you don't have to be a member to attend NAGARA's webinars. You can attend as a non-member for $39, or a full year's membership is only $89. So you get a lot from the membership. So, that's our main thing. And then I just wanted to put a pitch in for our annual conference. We meet in July of every year in a different city around the country. We've met in Minneapolis and Boise and Salt Lake City. This summer, we're meeting in Cincinnati. But as a full-time records manager, the conference is just a wonderful place to network with other, full-time records managers in state and local and federal government. I just love it there. And then community chat. That's we have a forum, so it's a membership benefit, but you know, the community chat discussion forums is a way to bounce a records or archives question off of 1,400 people also working in government records and archives. And so that has been a really great benefit to NAGARA as well.
And Angela, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that individual membership, $89, you can attend as many of the webinars that are given during the year for free. So if you even attend just 2, you're basically covering your membership dues. So it's a really good deal.
And then you also get access to the whole archive of webinars, which goes back to 2015. So, you know, there's, I think, at least 100 archive topics on anything under the sun. So yeah, you get a lot out of a NAGARA membership. It's a really good deal.
So how do you think your organization benefits a municipal clerk?
Well, I want to talk about the GARA certificate. So Lee Woodward, who kind of invited Holly and I to come talk at this, she has earned her GARA certificate, and now she is serving on our GARA subcommittee. We absolutely love Lee. She's so wonderful. So it's the Government Archives and Records Administration certificate. And I think this would be really beneficial to a municipal clerk, especially in Texas, because y'all already have to get training, you know, from the Attorney General's office on the Texas Public Information Act. You probably, you know, a lot of you have probably attended training from TSLAC, the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. They do kind of foundational training on records management for local and state governments. So all of that training you do from TSLAC and the OAG is already eligible for study hours towards the GARA certificate. The certificate is, you know, 40 hours of study on 9 different records management topics. And of course, all of NAGARA's training events can be counted. So if you did do the membership and you can see the whole archive, you can earn the entire certificate just, you know, using NAGARA stuff. And GARA actually started with the IIMC, a partnership between the 2 organizations. It was originally known as the Local Government Archives and Records Administration Certificate, the LGARA, because it just, you know, the idea was to give municipal clerks a way to justify getting 40 hours of training in records management. So, you know, certainly most of our recipients are still local government, but I think it's, you know, it's a great benefit to kind of justify getting that training that, you know, you'll probably need at some point in records and archives.
So how can a new person quickly feel like they're part of NAGARA?
I'll take this one. I think that the best way to answer this question is to kind of tell y'all about how I got involved. I started as the records assistant records manager for the county of Denton back in 2016. I was right out of school and did not have a lot of experience in records administration or government at all. Felt a little bit out of my depth. I had studied library science, so wanted to work in information, but it was a whole new world for me. One of the first things that I did was go to the annual conference. It was in, gosh, I think Boise that year. I might be wrong on that, but I think I was in Boise. I was like, what am I doing in Boise? Somebody just told me to go there. My bosses were like, you're going to be training, go to Boise. I was like, okay, this seems like a little bit of a weird thing if I'm, you know, starting my job as a Texas records manager. But the conference was really eye-opening. I, for the first time, saw a lot of educational sessions that were very practical, telling me things that I really felt like I could implement fairly easily in my office to improve the way people can access government information for my county. It was really exciting. It really energized me. Another cool thing was there were, you know, luncheons at this conference where I just kind of had to, if I wanted to eat, I had to sit down at a table with people and at least listen to them chat, even if I was feeling introverted and did not want to chat. And I ended up just sitting by some people with some really great ideas, having a really great conversation. And again, these light bulb moments kept coming to me of ways that I could improve our records program. After that, I just felt really excited about being involved in NAGARA. I think, like Angela said before, sometimes with records management, education, it can feel like a sales pitch. If you have, not that it's bad to listen to a sales pitch or a demo of a new piece of software that might help you, but that's not what I was looking for at the time when I started in government records. So it was pretty exciting to be able to fairly immediately start learning things that could actually add value to our government, because really, we're here to serve our taxpayers. At the end of the day, that is the biggest thing that we're all trying to do in government. So after that, I spent the next year trying to implement a lot of different things, those light bulb moments that I had, and decided for the next annual conference, I had done some kind of cool things in our records program and decided maybe, I'm a nobody right now, but maybe if I submit to talk at this conference, they'll accept it and I can talk with more people about what we've done in outreach in our government record space. Pretty much trying to get other people in Denton County excited about managing records, even though it's not a very exciting thing. So I submitted to do a little talk on that topic, and they accepted it, which was really exciting as someone very new and very green in the field. And after that, it became really easy to network with people. Like Lee, I met through her emailing me about seeing my webinar in the archive, I think is where she saw it. She might look at this and say, no, that's not how we met. But I'm fairly sure that's how I met Lee. It just became really easy to get to know people after that. But I should say that you don't have to go to the annual conference or be comfortable enough to present a presentation to feel involved. It's really easy to feel like a part of NAGARA. If you wanted to just go and watch webinars live and ask people questions, you're going to start feeling like a community, because you're going to start recognizing the people who are there and knowing who you can reach out to with questions. Participating in those community chat forums, it's really easy to feel like a part of the community just by answering a question if you have an answer, or asking a question if you have a question. Sometimes people in government or information management can be those introverts who don't necessarily want to start the conversation, but you can very quickly just share your 2 cents and be able to feel a part of our really great organization. You can also volunteer. There are committees you can volunteer on, board of directors you can volunteer on. It's plenty of opportunities to get involved.
Great. So where can we find more information about NAGARA?
So our website, and I will drop a link in the chat to more info about the GARA program. And yeah, if you're not sure you want to commit to a full membership, like I said, the webinars are open to non-members too. So that might be a great way to kind of check out NAGARA and see what we're all about. And Holly is kind of NAGARA famous for her webinar about, her in-person, it was a training at a conference, and then she did it again as a webinar, but it was about turning records coordinators into records ambassadors. And I know you must have gotten a lot of fan mail after that one. Like, she has a reputation for putting the excitement into records management and really getting people excited about it. So we love Holly Dolan.
Thanks.
So I'll share the link to that GARA info.
Okay, great. Is there anything else either one of you want to mention about NAGARA real quickly before we move to Karen?
I'll just reiterate that the community that NAGARA has built over however many years is really incredible. We did some listening sessions a while back. The board of directors was writing a new strategic plan, and we wanted to hear from our members what they liked about NAGARA, what we could improve. And the one thing that we kept hearing over and over again was that it feels like a tight-knit community. It's kind of like when you live in a big city, but it feels like a small town. I think that that's what NAGARA has really become. We have a lot of members and we have a lot of perspectives, a lot of diversity in our membership, but we also are this little tight-knit community where you can really find someone to connect with, to share stories with, to, learn something new or just kind of complain about the problems that we all face as government administrators. It can really have a beautiful sense of community. And I'll reiterate again how excited we are, even though it is this tight-knit community, to have new members and to grow our membership, because we know that the more people we have and the more perspectives that we have, the better we can be as a profession. So I hope y'all check us out.
Great. Okay, our next speaker is Karen Daly, and she's going to talk to us about the Texas Women Leadership Institute. So Karen, do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about your organization?
Yes, so the Texas Women's Leadership Institute started 5 years ago, and it was a point where me and probably 4 other female city managers were standing there complaining again about the lack of female managers in the state of Texas. And I said, if we talk about this one more time, I'm just going to scream. So we actually went ahead and started it. It is a year-long program that is done once a year, sponsored by the Women Leading Government of Texas. And it goes through a whole 5-part seminar series around the state. And what it does is it's designed to empower and prepare women to become city managers in Texas.
Do you want to talk about TCMA?
Yes. So I kind of have 2 hats on. I feel like I should have a hat, you know, to do this. But yeah, so TCMA is the Texas City Management Association. And you're like, oh my gosh, because TMCA is y'all. So it's kind of this whole confusing, weird thing. But I have to say that one, thank you for making TCMA such a good organization, because you people keep our city managers in line. So thank you so much for that. It's very, very helpful. And so TCMA, of course, is the organization for city managers and career professionals in Texas.
Okay. What 2 or 3 things do you think are the biggest benefit to being involved in those organizations?
So for TCMA, it is, well, for both of them, it's networking, you know, and Holly really stuck on that too, and Angela, about going to conferences and learning and meeting people. It's very important because even as Mary Lynne said, when she was talking about the fact that she can go and get an ordinance or a program from another community, the same thing. Local government does not need to reinvent itself. So the idea that you can, there's somebody else has already done it, you know, and you're not the only one with that problem. So finding your network and being able to get that saves you so much time. And you know, you don't start with a blank page, you start with a draft. And you change the name of the city first, and then you can get to work on how it will work for you. So the idea of just having your network is extremely important. From the Texas Women's Leadership Institute, that is a very exclusive, I would use that word, because we only take 20 women across the state of Texas for that program. And we have an application process that's very open. And we actually look for a variety of people in that process. So for example, we've had 4 city secretaries graduate in our 4 classes at the Texas Women's Leadership Institute. And they're rock stars like Lee Woodward, Roxanne Benitez, Frances Aguilar, Caitlin Biggs. So we've got some really nice examples of how city secretaries, city clerks fit into that program.
So what do you think are some of maybe the main benefit for joining or participating in either one of them?
Right. For TWLI, the Women's Leadership Institute, it is, again, a network and access to programming and professional development that you don't get anywhere else. That institute blends hard and soft skills. So we go from everything from negotiation, which I consider a hard and soft skill, to budgeting, airport tours, wastewater treatment plants, bond elections, finance, to how do you be a single city manager? How do you be a mom and a city manager? How do you deal with city councils? So we go through all of these things with the premier female managers in the state of Texas. And we've had for the last well, we've had Cheryl Scully, who wrote a book called Greedy Bastards, which is a book about the fire union and police union in city of San Antonio when she was the manager there. And she comes and talks and autographs books for our class. So we get the cream of the crop in Texas for that program.
Cool.
And as far as TCMA goes, there are regions, just like there are in TMCA. There are 10 regions, and those regions have meetings, additional meetings, where your network can be drilled down to people who are much more local to your area.
Okay. So what's the best way to kind of feel like for a new member that you're part of the organizations?
I think for TCMA, it's definitely to go to the region meetings. They're sometimes like West Texas, they're kind of far apart. And if you don't live in the central part of any region, sometimes it seems like a long way, but it's definitely worth it because that's where you meet and really get to know. TCMA also has committees. So they have different committees that they ask people to sign up for. And I loved Holly's example of just like submitting a session. TCMA has started to do that as well. So you can submit a session and then present at one of the conferences. As far as TWLI, getting connected there, you got to get in. But can I just say for that one, the tuition for the program is $400. We also offer scholarships to anyone who needs a scholarship. You have to pay for your travel to the sites and then any other incidental travel costs. But we try to keep it very affordable. And again, we just make it so that it can be a great benefit to those that do get to be in the program.
So how do we find out more information about it?
So I'll put the website for the Texas Women's Leadership in the chat and then TCMA in the chat. So definitely can look at those and see. I also want to mention that for TWLI, we'll open applications on June 1st and they'll be open from June 1st to June 30th. We close it. And then the selection will be in July for next January. So the next class will start in January. So please look at that. We're using Jot form for the first time, so I'm kind of excited about that. When I heard about the Excel application, I'm like, oh. So.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to tell us that just came to mind?
Yes, it's kind of a trend and it kind of combines my two groups that I'm talking about. And that is, for a while, we used to see a lot of police chiefs become city managers. And what we're starting to see a lot of are city secretaries and city clerks becoming city managers. Y'all know the business, you know the rules. You keep it legal. You always have respect for the city council. And so I think it's important to look at the two organizations I'm talking about to prepare yourself for that position. You may not even want it in the future, but it may come to you even if you don't want it or even if you weren't thinking about it. So the better you can prepare yourself, the better you will be and the better network you have. I see this with police chiefs a lot. They do not like to network with the city managers because we've always been the enemy in the past. And so sometimes the clerks are like, I don't want to leave my peeps. I got all these great people that I've worked with and I love. Well, you need to step into that other world too. You need to kind of say, okay, now I'm a city manager or city administrator and I need to go be with them too. So don't be scared. We're not as mean and horrible as we've been made out to be over the years. A very fun group and a very supportive group. And I think that once you just ask one question, you will get the support and the love and all the help that you need to be a successful manager, because we want success. We want people to be successful, and so hopefully these programs and organizations are setting people up to succeed.
Great. And I know we do have members that are in both roles. So yeah,
yes,
you never know when that day will come.
I know it happens more than y'all think.
Yes. Okay, great. And I don't see any specific questions. So I think we're good. So our next will be Lee Woodward. And Lee was not actually able to make it today. So we have pre-recorded hers and Dr. Holt is going to be sharing the video.
Yes.
We
Hopefully,
hope.
yes. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I can't see anything.
Okay, unfortunately, hopefully Zoom is not going to have any issues. We have been having some major issues with the university. They are.
Uh-oh, you're frozen. Okay, you're on mute, Dr. Holt.
I'm back, but we are having some issues and we continue to have them at the university of Zoom not wanting to share our screen. So I'm going to try one more time. If it doesn't work, I think the plan would be to embed this video in this Zoom meeting that we will share as a recording in our membership portal. My hope is to play, but let me try again. I just don't want to keep anyone unnecessarily as we try to work this out. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna hit play. Hopefully this will get this rolling.
You can all see my messy desk.
Well, first of all, it's TMCA. To be a part of the Texas Municipal Clerks Association.
We sound like chipmunks, Dr. Holt.
Okay, well, that's not good. Here, I'm gonna turn it back. Y'all are talking really, really fast, or you just have a high pitch?
Really fast and maybe a little high pitch.
All right, let's try again.
Okay, now you can't hear me.
Dr. Holt, I don't think the video sound is coming through correctly. It was actually coming through your speakers. So if you want to stop sharing your screen, and when you click share screen again, say share sound, and then that should fix that problem. But I did mute you just to test that.
Proud to be a part of the Texas Municipal Clerks Association Incorporated, almost 1,200 members strong from all across Texas. In 1987, the 70th Texas Legislature enrolled the text of Local Government Code 22.074, establishing the ability of TMCA to conduct our certification program. We are an organization of education and training, as well as providing extraordinary networking, friendship, and the informal mentoring that we experience. Today, I'm also going to talk about the parliamentary procedure front, of which I might be more excited about than anyone else. But there are two international primary organizations for that, NAP and AIP. And then I'm the president currently of the Electronic Association, which is a substituent of NAP. So we'll try not to get hung up on the initials today, but the Electronic Association is also an international organization, and we're virtual. So these organizations all welcome anyone who wants to learn more about parliamentary procedure, whether that's just to study and use on their own or to get certifications.
Great. Next question, what 2 or 3 things would you say are the biggest benefit of your involvement with the organizations?
For TMCA, I would say definitely the connectivity. I have never seen such a large professional group as kind and as caring to each other as I have seen for nearly 14 years now in TMCA. The organization is focused on education and on success of its members. As a well-trained city secretary or municipal clerk makes a great impression in their organization and in their community. And TMCA, everything that we do helps to support that mission. On the parliamentary procedure side, as I mentioned, we're talking about several different associations, and those have tons of substituent units and chapters. And each of those have their own benefits depending on what your needs are and how you like to learn, study, be with others. The parliamentary world has deep roots. We are few on the ground, but we are all over, from legislative bodies to your local garden club and your PTA. So without a doubt, the ability to attend meetings or conferences or education sessions electronically, as we've seen in the last few years, has just been instrumental in the ability to participate and to improve efficiency and proficiency. Parliamentary organizations provide training for a skill set that is useful, as I mentioned, in all size bodies and all types of organizations.
Absolutely. Thank you. How do you think your organizations would benefit a municipal clerk?
Well, I'd be willing to put money on the assertion that there is no better clerk development program than TMCA's TMCCP. That's our certification program and recertification process. Through that, we have in-person and online options, free sessions like this one, access through our TMCA online portal to communications options. And as a member of the TMCA board, I can tell you that the development and support of clerks from every size city in every part of the state and in every stage of their careers is present in our decision making. For a parliamentary procedure, the ability to understand and use meeting procedures, even at a learning stage, makes participating in group discussion more accessible. Meeting procedures should enhance efficiency in completing work that clearly reflects the will of the group that's using it. We've all seen meetings where emotions run high or unfortunately that lack decorum, and parliamentary procedure provides a framework to focus on the subjects at hand rather than on personalities or past grievances. And those are skills that a clerk can use and help develop in the others that they work with.
Next question. How could a new person quickly feel like part of your associations?
Well, at TMCA, we do joke that you can always find us all in the hotel bar at a seminar. But I want you to think of that as like ending up at the kitchen at somebody's home. We are so welcoming. This is an organization that is always looking for who is new, how can we help, and what's going on in your world, your community, your city that someone else might have had experience with or is going to be facing, and providing answers for that. So it's a very warm organization, and just showing up is really all you have to do to get involved. And I would say the same is true for parliamentary procedure. As you can imagine, there are many people who find that they have a need for it, but don't necessarily stick with it. And so that's another place where we have a lot of turnover and a lot of new people. And the same thing is true. People are at all levels and stages of their knowledge and abilities, and you meet people where they are. As long as they show up, you're willing to share what you know and the resources that you have.
Okay. So where can our audience members find out more information about your associations?
Well, you're here, so you're connected to TMCA in some way. Our fabulous website is municlerks.unt.edu, of course. And I'm sure that you'll get follow-up from this session and be able to reach out and get more of those resources and connect with our amazing staff in Denton. For parliamentary procedure, eparliamentarians.org is the place to begin for the Electronic Association of Parliamentarians. We'd love to have you join one of our monthly education sessions or consider joining the association. For a full-on experience, the National Association of Parliamentarians is at parliamentarians.org. The Texas State Association of Parliamentarians is at texasparliamentarians.org. So surely you see a similar thing going on here. We're also available on social, and the American Institute of Parliamentarians is at AIPParl.org. Even better, come visit us at the Texas Annual Convention in Irving on April 28th through 30th.
Great. Okay, last question. Anything else you'd like our audience to know about your associations?
Well, I'm going to start with parliamentary procedure this time so I can finish with TMCA. And I would say in parliamentary procedure, there are amazing individuals in every organization, and that holds for those as well. I have learned so much from leaders in a variety of fields who come together around this set of skills, either as a professional or to make a difference in other organizations that are important to them in their lives. And what do I want you to know about TMCA? Well, if there's anything you don't know about it, you need to know, but it's wonderful. It is the best association, as I mentioned earlier, that I've ever seen. We are a great place for education. I mentioned that, but this affects our core duties like elections, minutes, TOMA, and the PIA, but also like today's session for professional development, legislative updates, and excellent municipal budgeting and investing seminars. So whatever you need as a clerk, TMCA can provide it, or we can connect you to it.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let you go, as incoming president-elect or president for TMCA. Just want to give you an opportunity to talk about what opportunities are coming up for members to get involved in the organization.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm glad that you remembered that, because it's something that's near and dear to my heart, is thinking of the river or the path that runs through the Texas Municipal Clerks Association. And that comes from getting involved. So we are thrilled when members apply to serve on committees. And then hopefully after they have some experience, they're serving as committee chairs. And that's a path that can lead to the board and officer service if that's something that works for an individual and plays a good part in their career. I would say there's a great benefit to serving on committees or just saying yes to opportunities in TMCA, even if someone has no interest in serving on the board at that time. You learn how these things work, you meet other members, you get that experience, and that is something that you carry out into organizations in your life and in your city, as well as assisting TMCA through that service. So I just can't encourage that enough. We do have applications available now through the TMCA website, newsletter, and the office. So there is no reason for everyone not to get involved.
Real quickly, we did have one question pop up in the chat that Karen responded to, but I wanted to make sure everybody saw it. A question came from Lauren. If you had to be a member of TCMA to apply for the Leadership Institute, and the answer is no, you do not. They look for a variety of women. So you do not have to be a member to apply and to join that organization. So. Any other questions?
Hey.
Well, if not, we thank you all for attending, and a special big thank you and shout out to our fabulous presenters today. I hope to see some of you join some additional organizations if you can, and I hope you consider joining some boards. I know everybody's always looking for really good volunteers to serve on boards. And don't forget, submit your committee applications for TMCA for next year, or your board application if you want to apply to be on the board. That deadline is coming up to serve on the board, and that's May 1st. So don't forget to submit your applications.